Well, guys, do you ever just feel like you feel bad?
No.
No,
No? Okay.
I'm
Well,
just
then
up here all the
just
time.
Yeah,
always
always
great.
100%. Yeah.
Well, these are some movies that aren't 100%, but it's still fun to watch. And it's man, I'm so bad at these.
What an
Holy
intro.
crap. Man,
Wow.
thank you. Thank you.
If that intro was a movie, it would be on this list
It
probably.
would.
What Zach's saying is we're talking about bad movies that are bad. But I think what you'll find out in this video is that we're kind of going to defend some of these movies at the same time.
Listen, they're bad, but they're fun to watch.
Yes.
Okay, that's what it's all about. What is happening with this movie, but why can I not stop watching it?
Yeah.
Yep.
And these are not necessarily so bad they're good. They're just bad movies that we would still recommend to watch
Yeah.
Mhm.
for different reasons.
Well, this one, if you open up Netflix, this one always pops up on my screen, even though I've already watched it. It's like number, I don't know, 9 on the trending on Netflix. It's Spenser Confidential, starring Mark Wahlberg, Winston Duke, Alan Arkin, Eliza Schlesinger, Mark Maron,
Post Malone.
Post Malone, directed by Peter Berg, written by the guy who wrote L.A. Confidential. Like this cast is stacked, even like behind the camera. Why does it suck? It's like it's a buddy cop mixed with a like a conspiracy movie that also wants to be an MMA fighter underdog movie
Excuse me? Wait,
with
what?
with a comedy.
Question:
Also super violent.
Was this movie made like 7 years ago?
Yes, it was like this is like a TNT movie, like made for
Oh,
TNT.
there you go.
That's not
But
happened for a long time.
yeah, does TNT even exist still?
Yeah.
If it
Yeah,
does, this movie is gonna make
they
it
know
exist
movies.
again. It's the most like kind of just turn off your brain. If especially if you like Mark Wahlberg, you probably did that already, because you're just expecting it's gonna be Mark Wahlberg. Like he's a Boston cop. He's chasing down perps. Winston Duke should be in this way more than he is. He's a cop that
He's a
Cop. He's
cop.
a
A
cop.
yeah,
cop.
he's a
He's a
Cop.
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 He's a cop that totally wrecks his superior officer
Ooh.
and and gets thrown in jail and comes out of jail and tries to investigate his own crime. Like the performances are fine. Everyone's fun to watch. That's what makes this movie somewhat enjoyable. Is everyone's having a good time.
What I've
Uh,
noticed about these Netflix movies is that they all sign deals with Netflix, and then you get like these weird pairings that are just like, oh, it's Mark Wahlberg and Mark Maron. Oh, it's we got Brad Pitt in the movie, but also here's Rowan Atkinson.
and this is a good example of that.
Yeah.
Like I mean, again, this cast is like crazy good, and I don't know what happened. It's just so fine, and that after a while, like it has a lot of fun, like the first 30 minutes, and then it gets really into its conspiracy theories, and then you're like, wait, what? Why am I watching this now?
So I'm wearing a shirt, the symbiote shirt, but also, let's see if this works. It's probably not gonna work.
Oh no, we're bringing this back. Oh, okay.
Ah! I'm talking about Spider-Man 3.
You're talking about Spider-Man 3, but you could probably throw Venom on this list
I
too.
could throw Venom on it, but we've
Yeah.
already done a review.
What is it about Venom that just it is like bad, but you enjoy watching them?
It's something about to do with what Todd McFarlane creates because Spawn, as you know, is a very campy, over the top thing, but so is Venom. He's an alien that's like a goo that lands on space and attaches itself to people and brings out the worst in people. And so Spider-Man 3, I'm sure it's been talked to death about why it's bad. Topher Grace should have never played Venom. The choices made in the movie are very terrible. But as a Spider-Man fan, they really nail how nerdy Peter Parker is because when he turns into when he gets the
The
symbiote,
cool guy.
yeah, when he gets it attached to him, it's like perfect Sam Raimi filmmaking. Only Sam
It's
Raimi
so
could do
bad.
that.
The best description I've ever heard of this movie is that Sam Raimi, who obviously loves like the older Spider-Man comics and like from the '60s and the '70s and that goofiness, it's clearly it's like the studio being like, we need Venom in here, but it's like a Sam Raimi like love letter to the '60s, like this trilogy, and
Yeah.
then it is like, hey, but take this thing from the '90s that is metal and hardcore and get it in there, and he just did what he had to do.
If anyone comes to me and was like, "Look, Spider-Man 3 sucks. You can't defend it." Well, I'm here to just defend it and say it's great. It's not. It's not a great ending to the trilogy because they sort of just
No,
like throw aside James Franco Osborn character to the side and just make him like a guy. But you know, Sandman, great sort of anti-hero villain type dude. He doesn't. He's not bad. He's not good. He's just middle of the
You just
road.
feel bad for him.
Yeah. And so that's the greatest thing about Spider-Man villains is they're never truly 100% awful. Whereas, you know, with Eddie Brock, Topher Grace version, he's very much not that, and that's what I think soured people on the movie a little bit because Eddie Brock in the comics, yeah, he's kind of a douche to Peter Parker, but he's not all bad.
yeah.
It's the symbiote that makes him bad.
It's like they took the worst part about Eddie Brock and they just said, just do that.
Yeah.
But you're also not going to be like jacked either. You're just going to be Topher Grace.
Yeah, exactly. And it's
Mm.
but I will say the action's great. It still holds up. CGI is good. That scene, the dance scene.
The movie's too long, Michael. It's just no. Okay, like
It is
I
it is too long.
I enjoy watching it on TNT, or it's probably on FX now.
This is a non-sponsored TNT ad.
Yeah.
This was the first time I think I ever felt like disappointment in a movie that I try to like cover up to myself. Because I was young. I was young when the prequels came out. I was young when Phantom Menace came out. So
Yeah.
yeah, I loved it. But Spider-Man 3, I went at midnight. I went to school the next day, exhausted, and I was like, yeah, guys, no, it's great. And knowing deep down, it wasn't great.
You were
You're lying to
lying.
yourself.
I was lying to myself.
All right. Bye. That's my pick.
We need to take a little trip back to the year 1998 when, Bruce Willis was still killing it, when Michael Bay could do no wrong. He hadn't made a Transformers movie yet. And Ben Affleck was just the guy from Good Will Hunting. Guys, we have to talk about Armageddon. This movie is I don't even know. It's like it's just so bad. It somehow goes back around from being bad to then being great at the same time, but then does it again, goes back around and it's bad again. But it's just like this circle of bad to great, bad to great. It is just
It's America.
It
It's
is-
America the movie.
it kind of is. This is I think like this was it launched. I think it helped launch Ben Affleck into like the Ben Affleck that was around for a
Well,
while.
it launched him into the main actor
Yes,
stratosphere.
the main
and
yeah.
then he did like G
Yes,
Lee and
yeah.
Daredevil.
So it launched him for a second. I think it broke Bruce Willis. I mean, after this, Bruce does not do too many great things for a while. I mean, he does like it pops up here and there.
Yeah.
But like I think this movie broke Bruce Willis. I love this movie. I love watching it, but it is so bad. It is we're sending like drillers to space, and then it has the audacity to like try to make you cry at the end. Come on, like
With the animal crackers?
no,
And Aerosmith.
no movie is allowed to have an Aerosmith cover of a Beatles song, LaGrange, and then like also try to make you cry with another Aerosmith song.
But oh god. But to go off of what Zach said, if you think about it, because this is truly an American movie, because what we do in America a lot of times is we come up with this great idea that
Yes.
literally everyone else is like, guys, excuse me, don't do that. And we're just like, hey, we're
We're doing it.
America. We can do whatever we want. And somehow it works out. And at the end, you're like, you look back and you're like, how did that work? How did he
Why
get
am I
away with it?
entertained?
J.J. Abrams wrote this movie. The man who relaunched Star Wars and then somehow burned it to the ground is in part responsible for this movie.
It makes sense that he would write Armageddon.
I like to think that I see. I don't know what part he probably wrote. I think he pushed it up a little bit. I don't think he was like the guy, but I mean, Arkansas's own Billy Bob Thornton is in charge of NASA. I don't even really want to dive that deep down into the idea of Ben Affleck, Liv Tyler, the Animal Cracker scene at like playing out as a song written by her father plays over that scene, right? It's weird. And we don't talk about it enough how weird it is.
You know what movie pairs really well with Armageddon?
What?
It's this little indie movie called Conair.
Listen,
they have like the same vibe. They have the same vibe.
They have the same color palette for most of it, right?
They do, yeah. But it's like this impossible thing that you think would never happen happens.
Got to give a shout out to Godzilla. I mean, terrible movie. I still enjoy watching it.
We can't stop this video without talking about Swordfish. Perhaps one of the worst movies I've ever seen. But it is amazing. It is, I wouldn't say it's not great at all. I wouldn't even say it's a fun watch sometimes. But when I watched as a kid, I was into it. They did the bullet time scene. Hugh Jackman was just fresh off of X-Men.
And Halle Berry.
And Halle Berry too, yeah. Yeah.
The hacking scene is hilarious.
And then you have the classic John Travolta.
Look, John Travolta. He was on one in the early 2000s.
He's still on.
But he did Swordfish and Battlefield Earth in like a certain time period.
Oh.
And now Swordfish is the definition of a TNT movie. Guys, Gone in 60 Seconds. I mean, I love Gone in 60 Seconds.
You know, it has Coach What's his name in there too.
It has Coach Yost. It's got Coach Yost, Vinnie Jones,
Nick Cage.
Nick Cage. It's got Angelina Jolie. It's got Angelina Jolie with dreads. Look. I mean, this movie is awesome.
No, it's not. It's trash. It's worse than the first Fast and the Furious.
Listen, I'm not gonna like really put this into stone. You know, my daughter's name is Eleanor. I'm not saying that we named her after the car from Gone in 60 Seconds.
But when your wife was giving birth, you were like,
but we did talk. It was like, well, what about Gone in 60 Seconds? Do we want people to think maybe we named her after the car? And we were kind of like, who cares? You know, so we. We're like, we'll allow it. And so, yeah, this movie, it's just, I don't know what it is about that late time period that people lost their mind.
Guess what? We're going to go so crazy on our quarantines. We're going to give you all the terrible opinions we have. Just all of them.
All of them.
Every single one.
Next video, we're going to be like, here's why Inception is overrated and lose all of our viewers.
Listen, I don't want to talk about that. I like Inception.
There's things to say about it. I don't know. There's no ending to this video.
I was going to say the movie.
This is a video within a video within a video within a dream. So,
my God.
Un esercito di